Hey guys, very quickly, just want to say that in this show you will see a lot of skipping. That is because in this show we do go on a little bit of a tangent, and there are a few stories I do not want to have just on our Slides to Coaster show. Rather, I'd like to do that in a one-off show to where we just kind of talk about life and talk about things that are a little bit different. So you will be seeing a ton of skipping. If you guys hear me say Cedar Fair and then go into, yeah, Kings Island's a great park, that's the reason why. So with that being said, let's hop right on into the show. Hello everyone, welcome back Slides to Coasters podcast, your source for anything and everything theme park, water park, and holiday event related. Folks, my name is Course Brad, the Water Parker, your host for this most fantastic show, joined once again by not Top Scan Ethan this time, my very good friend Ryan from the Coaster Clash podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate Ethan couldn't be here, but I was going to be on anyway, so what up?
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? I'm happy. I'm glad because this time I don't have some dude saying, Top Scan! Top Scan! Top Scan! There's a reason why I call him Top Scan Ethan. And,
Hey, Top Skin Ethan, what a name, what a
Top
legend.
Scan Ethan, what a legend. Now, he's very busy, and we kind of have to play catch up because we are a little bit behind here at Slides to Coasters. Uh, but today we're talking about our top 5 things that we want to see changed at Kings Island's Rivertown. Now, for the sake of this show, Ryan, we are going to include the Backlot Stunt Coaster area of the park as a part of Rivertown. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I already consider that part of Rivertown. I worked in the park in
mhm.
not recent time, not extremely recent time, but I did work in that park. And the Kings Island, like how their areas are divided, they actually do consider Backlot Snug Coaster to be a part of Rivertown, even though it's
Mhm.
Honeywell.
Yeah.
Weird, but
And I'm going to go for the sake of this show and also add in that Sprite uh, basketball shootout thing. And we're going to come back to that later because that's something I'm really, really extremely vocal about. You know me, I hate the basketball games with a passion.
I mean, we all hate the basketball games.
Oh man.
I love it when people start bouncing their basketballs on the platform, and then the operators are like stop, and then it goes into like a right area. My favorite.
But today we're going to be talking about Rivertown, a part of the park, Ryan, that, I know that you've been coming to Kings Island for how many years now? Since
Oh
two.
God, it's yeah. I've been going since Paramount, so
Yeah, so you've been going to the park for as practically as long as I have. I started going back in the early 2000s.
yeah.
And I remember Rivertown as a scenic, forested area of the park. I remember the panning area they used to have, where now the Diamondback, little merchandise area is at now.
My gosh, Rivertown is so okay. So I just want to point out real quick that I think Rivertown is the one of the ugliest went from what being one of the prettiest sections of the park to one of the ugliest sections of the park real quick.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, you got Tomb Raider to ride. You took out Swan Lake.
Like Rivertown is pretty. Like they've done some work recently with the addition of Mystic Timbers. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of starting to get it back. But I mean, during like the Kinsel area of or the Kinsel era of just let's plop down Diamondback, let's take out this nice ass lake in the middle of our park,
You know
give it
what?
this
I'm
like
gonna
scenic
call
area.
Diamondback's area now Kinzel area.
It's yeah, it literally is Kinsel area. I mean, look at Firehawk, look at Diamondback. Those rides are just kind of plopped in there with no real thought. They just placed them there.
Well, and it's kind of like Diamondback, and this is gonna kind of go into my first thing I want to talk about here. Diamondback, the splashdown pool area. I understand why they made it so open. You want to be able to see it from all directions, but I feel as if this is something that's really important to me. They need to go and add a ton more trees to this area of the park.
Oh yeah, dude, that's exactly what I was gonna say for my number five too.
Number 5, let's add in some more trees. Now, when I say
We need
landscaping and
trees,
trees,
landscaping. We need everything.
we need like some Streetmosphere characters. We need some updated theming. I think that what they did with Rivertown funnel cakes was amazing. But let's add on. Let's put some more theming to this area. Let's put some more trees out there. Um, I
I'm
just feels
personally a fan of what they did to the other funnel cake stand that was where Mystic Timbers is, and just got rid of it.
hmm
That was one of my biggest. think of moments. I'm kidding. But yeah, they did a nice job with the funnel cake. I actually do kind of miss that because it was really weird because I don't. Do you remember riding Whitewater Canyon
Yeah.
back before Mystic Timbers
Oh, yeah.
when you'd have to take that long ass queue line? That queue line was so damn long and you couldn't see any of it. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you got to the end, you realized it was a 45-minute wait, and then you walked
Mm-hmm.
all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Yeah, so, I think that with some upgraded theming, maybe put down some new. And Cedar Fair does this a lot, especially at Kings Island. They put a lot of, like, rustic machinery, which kind of looks offsetting in Coney Mall, in all honesty. Take all that rustic machinery and stuff, put it in Rivertown. I mean, there's this whole entire walkway connecting from I Street on down to Rivertown, and it just feels as if you're in Corporate Park. It feels like you're walking in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Yeah. That entire area. In fact, I would probably move that midway towards what is it, Diamondback, like the midway next to Diamondback or whatever,
Mhm.
where they that like is it a slushy stand that's never in use?
Yes, this Paradise
Just
Island
take
ice
that out.
cream.
Just
Yeah.
take that out. Just move this. I want that midway closer to the splashdown, and then
Yeah.
adding some trees, adding some nice buildings. You could rebuild that slushy stand if you're content with keeping it open. But personally, I've in recent years I only remember a handful of times that it's been open, and that's only been open on like peak days.
Well, and it's just kind of like, take it from Cedar Point. Their frontier area is fantastic. You've got a blend of, okay, you're in the woods, and then you have the open corporatist kind of town park. Like, it's not that difficult. But somehow they just, and again, maybe it's just because Diamondback is the way it is. Maybe it's just because the park just really hasn't looked at it in this kind of direction. But I feel as if there's a real severe lack of theming in what should be the most themed part of the park.
I completely agree.
Um,
I don't know why, like, I don't, that's the one thing I don't get, like, late 2000s Cedar Fair here, and their
Mhm.
thought process to place Diamondback where they placed it. They took easily the prettiest section of the park and just plopped, 230-foot tall height. Which I get it. The park did need a large steel coaster at the time, and I do think Rivertown was the right place for it, but I really think they should have, like, placed it somewhere else.
Well, why not
Like,
place
there
it
were other
where?
options here.
And this is going into my number 4, and I guess I'll go with my number 4, and then you go with your number 4 here in a second. I want to take out the old crypt building. I want that
That
gone.
was gonna be high. Since we were doing this and like prioritized, I guess, or like largest to least, or least largest to largest, I was gonna include that later in my list.
Mhm.
But yeah, I completely agree.
Well, here's the reason why I'm putting it down as my number 4. I would love to see the kitten keel boats come back to this part of the park.
Yep. I was thinking new water ride,
Yep.
but I mean, I was gonna kind of combine those. But I mean,
Oh, you could.
I guess we could talk about it now.
Yeah. So, would you rather? Because for myself, I'd love to see a new like log ride. Something like Chiapas.
Yeah,
Chiapas.
I'm thinking either building a completely new water ride, or with the or next if you want to keep that building for future use, because I mean that is a really large building, and I would absolutely love to see another dark ride or something similar come to that section of the park. I would love like so I would take our original log flume over in Planet Snoopy since it's right next door, and
Mm-hmm.
you might as well expand Rivertown over there. But that's a little bit of an awkward placement.
Mm-hmm.
With the kids area being right there, because I mean it is part of Planet Snoopy. I mean that's a very prominent part of
Well,
Planet Snoopy.
originally it
But
was a part of Rivertown. Back in the day, it used to be a part of Rivertown.
oh yeah, I know they had two flumes.
Yeah. So why not have two flumes again? That's, my mother. She always said she loved the keelboat canal. That was one of her favorite rides as a kid. And I think that, with the space, with the terrain, because there is a gradient. There is a gradient back there, and I think most definitely they can put in something that is long, that is fun for the whole entire family. Something that, really, in all honesty, that part of the park, you've got a family ride with Mystic Timbers. You've got a family ride with the Beast. Why not just put another water
Beast and
ride?
Mystic. Oh, well, the Beast is not a family ride, but at least I don't consider it a family ride.
Well, I mean, okay, let me put it like this. I see a lot more
I
kids.
think Mystic Timbers is the better ride overall,
Yeah.
but the Beast is more aggressive in terms of it's 40 years old. It has some age to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not the smoothest attraction today. They take great care of it, but it's not the smoothest. It's a 40-year-old wooden coaster. You're not gonna get butter smooth here.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Mystic Timbers is a couple years old, brand new GCI. Which, speaking of which, they should have placed Mystic Timbers in 2009
Oh,
and then
yeah.
added Diamondback later in life. Like, I think a GCI at Kings Island made so much more sense than getting Diamondback in 2009.
Well, you gotta remember, too, around that time period, that they still had Son of Beast.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
that's true, but, I mean, I don't know. Still, even with Son of Beast, I think a GCI would have made so much more sense.
yeah. So what was your number 4? What was the thing that you were trying to gear for?
Oh, all right. So my number 4, and it sort of goes along with my number 5, because I did mention it. Buildings. I want thematic buildings. Similar to how Knott's Berry Farm has their buildings in their ghost town area, except
Mm-hmm.
obviously themed towards Rivertown. I want those style buildings back because in 2009, right before Diamondback, or 2008, right before Diamondback was built, exactly where Diamondback's entrance plaza was, there were these really nice frontier buildings.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a stage show. There was like a stage 2 with it. I think Cedar Fair just completely demolished it. I love Kings Island. I love Cedar Fair. It's a great company,
Mm-hmm.
but that's such a mistake to me that I don't know why they didn't try to repurpose those buildings for theming or like an indoor section of the queue line. At least, like it
It's
doesn't make any sense to me.
and I'll piggyback off you because I was going to put that down as next, but I would love for them to go and like what you're talking about before, with that midway going up towards I Street, put in some more buildings, and then as
Yeah.
well with the
Also,
arcade.
yeah, like I want buildings, more shade,
Mm-hmm.
more just nice atmosphere. I think having some like Rivertown street atmosphere would be cool too.
Well, and it's kind of like, again, corporatists. You got to think Cedar Fair corporate, the, Rivertown with the pizza area, with La Rose's. Then as well, you have this arcade.
Oh no, we're keeping La Rose's. That's
Oh,
a
I
Cincinnati
would love
classic.
to keep La Rose's. Don't get me wrong, but with the arcade, I would love for them first off, that back area next to the Beast, reshade it, retheme it, put some buildings back there. Do not make it into the plaza that it is currently right now. Um, Make that arcade building into a saloon. Maybe have some craft beers from local, you got Rheingeist, you got Taft's. Cincinnati is one of the largest craft beer cities in the nation. Why not have a celebration of Cincinnati in Rivertown? Put in a craft beer area to where you can get beer or something like that on tap. Have it be a seasonal rotation. Maybe have some form of show just like what you get up at Cedar Point. There's something lacking with this park when it comes to the buildings, when it comes to the thematics, especially in what should be the most themed part of the park.
We appear to be having internet technical difficulties.
Oh, you're good. They picked up what I was saying, but going ahead.
Ah, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Oh,
No,
of course. Now it comes back. I'm gonna switch to my computer real quick.
yeah. So for you guys who are wondering at home, we are recording this via OBS. So I'm gonna continue talking while he's fixing that.
All
You
right,
know,
all right. It's cool. Cool. It's done.
oh, you're
Sorry.
good. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Yeah, I was gonna go with, general streetmosphere. I want to make the area look pleasing, look
Mm-hmm.
really nice, look like something special.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I think. I think Kings Island needs that something special area. Because no offense to, I mean, Kings Island in general. I mean, they did a great job with Orion in terms of like building a decent ride that's gonna deliver to, general audiences very well. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that entire area kind of looks off. Like I like what they were going for. Don't get me wrong. I wish we could continue upon that concept though.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did mention that in your Area 72 video that you wish they would continue that concept a little bit more, refine it.
Yeah, and
You know?
that's we were kind of having a pre-show conversation about Area 72, and we brought up the same exact issue that we got in Rivertown. They have shoehorned themselves in the worst way possible. I don't really want to mess with the beast. I did not want to mess with the area that the beast inhabits. But it's like Orion. You've got this big giant plot of land right behind a queue line that they're doing nothing with. They kind of shoehorn themselves in. The same exact deal here. Like you've got Diamondback splitting Rivertown straight down the middle. You've got Mystic Timbers to the left. You've got Backlot Stunt Coaster, which we'll be talking about that here in a minute, to the right. Looking from the aerial view, of course.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of issues with space.
I mean, honestly though, Rivertown isn't as locked up as it is now. With especially with Vortex being gone, considering I considered half of that ride pretty much in Rivertown.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want in the future for that site that
Yeah.
I'll be glad to talk about. And honestly, this next opinion is gonna show how much I've aged. I think the pandemic's aged my coaster rankings in a weird way, and you'll see in a minute.
So I guess we'll move on to our number 3 here. I'll start off first, and then I'll bring it on over to you. For my number 3, I want to see a Beast Reborn. Hold your horses, guys. I'm not talking about RMC. There's no RMC in here.
Thank God. I was literally about to kill you.
There was I know some fanboy out there is like, what the hell are you talking about? You get the Beast. I probably have more hours on the Beast than most coaster enthusiasts, by the way, because I cycled that thing during the Gold Pass ERT for a whole entire year. Most of the hours. I got so many Zen rides in the fall, and it was so freaking good. But anyways, what do I mean when I say, the Beast Reborn? Take off the trims. Reprofile using GCI. This coaster was built with hand and paper. We're going to reprofile, redesign, reconceptualize bits and portions, because I'm going to be honest with you. The first drop would be so much more intense if it didn't have that trim.
Yeah, I think the trims. I think everything's there for a reason, though. I mean,
well, if you reprofile and if you retrack and if you redesign, heck, I would even argue that you could maybe put the RMC topper track on portions of it, just to kind of.
God no.
Yeah.
I hate this. I don't like this conversation.
Oh, I love this conversation. I love the Beast. But I hate the roughness.
Oh, I don't think it's rough. Granted, I didn't ride it this year, so
I
can't say anything.
It was bad in the helices. Really bad in the helices. And it's kind of like, I know that they treat the Beast like a baby, but if they were to go, and again, talking about the Beast Reborn here, if they were to redo the queue line, right? If they were to go and refresh, take out that slotted portion and maybe put in like some research center. Create the theme, create the story behind Beast Canyon. Maybe even re-add in the lake. They took out the lake because of Vortex. Put the lake back in. Put in some new theming. Maybe if you're not going to put in the lake, put in a ton of trees. Whatever you can do to make this area look more like it's in the rugged wilderness. because I feel as if this is a coaster classic that we need to keep, that we need to preserve, and the best way we're going to do it is to increase ridership, to refresh it, to redesign, to remodel. Ryan, what's your opinion on it?
My number 3 or that?
That, and then your number 3.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess I can kind of agree, but I think the roughness adds to the ride, because if it wasn't like rough in places, I think the ride would just be extremely bland and boring. I think it would be cool to have some like more theming brought back to the ride though, because the ride definitely opened with a lot more theming.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that lake would be extremely cool. I mean, I can't see them bringing it back just because of how expensive that sounds, but no, my number 3 though is something that I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna steal a little card from Silver Dollar City without the sharks though. All right, I'm stealing cards without the sharks. I'm gonna retire Whitewater Canyon, but I'm gonna replace the ride with basically the same ride using the same troughs with the similar how they did Mystic River Falls. I want that. I want to revitalize our water ride, our Whitewater Canyon style ride, to a heavily themed experience with including with animatronics from Gorner Holt Productions, similar to how Knott's Berry Farm rethemed their Bigfoot River Rapids ride.
Yep.
Because I rode that in 2019, and I was pretty damn impressed with how it looked.
Oh, I loved it.
They did a really nice job retheming the queue line. Yeah, it was awesome. Like, and it didn't get you too wet. Like, I guess it really did. It was kind of a cooler day when we went, and they dialed back the effects, and that was awesome. I loved it. And it was still like it had. I mean, nothing at Knott's really had that large of a wait, but that was probably the longest line of the day, was getting on Bigfoot River Rapids, because I mean, and that's a high capacity river raft ride, but I mean they are always popular with families, and I think if they added something like Mystic River Falls, or was it Mystic River Rapids or Mystic River Falls?
Mystic River Falls, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure Carowinds is on their way to doing the same thing pretty quick here, because I know their water ride has been sitting there for
it's been down like 3 years for now. Way too long. When I went down there, 3 years ago?
I don't understand. You're telling me you got rid of every water ride in your park during the 100-degree South Carolina, North Carolina days? Like, you're kidding me.
It doesn't make
any sense.
It's a shame, because you sit there and you walk into the park, and it's like this big giant it's this big giant fence. As soon as you walk into the park,
big giant fence that you could see just concrete from Fury.
Yeah, and you're just like, what?
Pretty much the equivalent of riding Millennium Force during 2016 to 2018.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, it's a big plot of land. And, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of things you could do with that plot.
I get why they haven't touched it. I really do, especially if they're not planning on doing this Mystic River Falls revamp, whatever. Like, if they're not planning on doing that, I get it, because I can only imagine how expensive that's going to be, digging up all of that concrete. Like, that sounds miserable, and especially if they removed it for high maintenance costs,
Yeah, but they don't have... But I think... Besides the water park, which, I mean, I get it, that's probably an excuse for them to say, well, go to the water park, that's where you can get wet, that's where you can cool off. A lot of families don't go to the water park. And it's just kind of like, when I went, at least for myself, it wasn't too hot. It got hot, maybe midday, a little bit later, it was like 90 something. But for the most part, it was pretty tolerable. It's a walkable park. I think the coaster island they have in the dead center of the park kind of is weird, in my opinion. But, going back to Kings Island here, I think that if they were to go and add something like what you're talking about with Mystic River Falls, I think that would be an incredible addition.
I do too. It looks like Silver Dollar City completely took their ride out and built a new one. So I'm not sure if Kings Island, especially I mean, I'm not thinking about pandemic Kings Island because I like to have fun with my predictions because I
Mm-hmm.
know none of this is happening in the near future. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to point that out there. If you think your home park owned by Cedar Fair is getting a coaster anytime soon, I wish you luck on the amount of disappointment you're gonna get. They're not getting shit anytime soon.
They
It
are.
it should be known.
Do you know? Did you know that a ton of parks are not going to be open on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
No, no, I was looking at this because like up at Cedar Point, the schedule is not to open like daily until like June
Yeah.
or something like that. It's
They're
like Memorial Day
so
weekend when they're
like
opening daily.
Dorney, Michigan's Adventure, Valley Fair, a ton of these parks.
Kennywood's not going to be open on Monday, Tuesday either, I think.
Yeah, they are really kind of hammering down this
Which
whole
is
deal.
really interesting because
We'll leave that for
yeah,
another day.
yeah.
But
Sorry.
again, Kings Island, I think that would be a great thing for number 3. Moving on to our number 2 here. Ryan, I'll throw it to you. What's your number 2 thing that you'd like to see comes to Riverside?
All right. So my number 2, I'm gonna go back. I'm taking it back to the water ride discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a choice here. Either we're gonna take out our nice giant tan metal Rivertown box, or
Mhm.
we're gonna keep it. If we keep it, I would like to see either a indoor wild mouse, indoor Gerstlauer spinner, something of that nature, or a dark ride. If we take out our big tan shiny metal box, I'd like to see a mock water coaster.
I can vibe with that.
Yes. And it
Yeah.
would be, again, themed to Rivertown, themed to the area. Don't really know what the theme would be. You could maybe make it like Miami River or something like that. I mean, I don't want to take Mystic's theme too much. I mean, according to the story, there's a lot that happens in Rivertown. I mean, so, I don't know, something like that.
It's the whole entire area has a big paranormal theme, right? So if you were to go in that direction with like a dark ride, so to speak, again, Rivertown is themed after Cincinnati. It's themed after Losantiville. Losantiville's original name for Cincinnati. It was like a little tiny area of Cincinnati that eventually became part of it. But, you would have to theme it something around Cincinnati, some form of paranormal activity. Maybe have it be like an old theater or something like Phantom Theater.
Yeah. Either that or I'd like to see a show venue there, but do something with that area because I am tired of staring at a big tan metal box every time I walk by Rivertown.
I think that it has
And how
worth.
you have a ton of theming left over from Tomb Raider that you could reuse. You don't even have to touch it. It doesn't even look like it's from Tomb Raider, especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's bamboo, so you'd have to repaint the bamboo to like wood, but yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do. Just walk through that area. You're on like a catwalk. Get up some fog above you. Some lighting. You walk in. Pre-show onto like either a wild mouse or like it'd be cool to have is it a Mauer spinner? Whatever Winges is at Fantasia Land.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it'd be cool to have like a custom version of Winges with like a drop track and like a tilt track, sort of how Winges is, and then have because I mean that's a pretty big tan metal box. I'm not really sure if it's big enough for that, but I mean, just the idea. If you need to, we could expand it. I mean, there's a lot to do with that building now. If it was up to me, you have to add theming to make it look like not a tan metal box because
Yes.
god damn it, the tan metal box is so ugly. Like I don't know if anyone on this podcast has ever looked at pictures of the tan metal box when it was Tomb Raider, but guess what? It was still a tan metal box.
Hey, I was there. I've been.
Yeah, I was there too.
I like it. It is a travesty. It is a travesty, and there's just a better way of doing it. There really is, and
I completely agree.
I think that the whole entire, it has some value when it comes to like storage facilities and storage capacity. But,
oh yeah, it's a great haunt. It's won like what haunt of the week like several thousand times.
Oh, I hate Madame Madame Fatales, whatever it is. I hate
You don't
that.
like Madame Fatales?
I think that it is the most cheesiest. No offense. I know Kings Island people watch Kings Island stuff. No offense to you guys. Really. Honestly. I just don't care for it. I think that the theming is just out of it. I think that it doesn't make any sense. The scares itself isn't really that good.
I enjoy Madame Fatales. I think that there are better uses than a permanent haunted house.
Yeah, and again, this go back. For Killmart, it's easier to say because it actually fits in with the area. For
what do you mean? Killmart's literally just into a Kmart in Rivertown.
Well, no. So Killmart is in Coney Mall, and they actually have a facade out front with like Coney Mall. It's like shop fronts, right? But
I don't know. I don't really think that sort of stuff matters during haunted. I mean, it's a haunted.
Well, no, I'm talking about like during the whole entire year. I'm talking about the whole entire year.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah. So like it's actually themed.
Okay, hot take. That still looks so ugly though.
Oh, I mean, I think it looks nice. I think that it has charm. I really do. But
I'm not a fan of it, but that's just me personally.
Moving on to my number 2. Ryan, I told you this at the very beginning, and I am gonna hold to it. This area.
Okay. For the record, I don't like this plan at all.
Oh, I love this plan. And you know what? I got 2 things for this plan. My number 2 and my number 1. They both have to deal with this one location, buddy. Backlot stunt coaster and the Sprite 6-point shootout. Doze it. Destroy it. Nix it. I want it gone. I want it. Nope. Gone. Keep the trees.
What the hell did the Sprite shootout do to you?
It took out my favorite ride of the park, the Flying Eagles. What did it not do to me?
Shootout, though.
I hate the basketball games. I hate them. I hate them. Take out Backlot Stunt Coaster and add in the Sprite area. Take out the queue line. Take out everything. Reinstall the antique cars. And as well, in the same deck package, put into Flying Eagles. I know we just got the Kings Mills antique autos. I know that we have Woodstock.
You might have some antique cars from a certain Six Flags park going on sale pretty quick.
Yeah, so put in the original layout. You have the topography. You can do it. I think that you can most definitely work with the area, rebuild the classic covered bridge, which, in all honesty, I thought it was a travesty that we didn't get 100% of the covered bridge with the Kings Mills antique auto.
Honestly, I'm thinking about this. You could probably relocate Backlot Stunt Coaster and have it as a different theme, not like another park, and it would work out really well.
Send it to Dorney.
Send it to Dorney. What would you theme it to at Dorney Park? Like El Fundo's Wild Ride?
You're gonna hate me for this one.
It's Al Fundo. My bad. It's not El Fundo.
You're gonna hate me for this one.
Al Fundo.
Philadelphia Breakdown.
Philadelphia Breakdown. Not like that.
Yeah, just have it like themed to traveling through Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Philadelphia traffic coaster.
Yes, Philadelphia the ride.
Have it exactly what it seems through driving through Philadelphia.
Just have like random brakes and random accelerators throughout the ride. No, I want that thing gone.
Here's what it feels like getting on our highway, and then here's what it feels like going up our weird fucking helixes up our bridges.
Oh man, I hate Backlot Stunt Coaster. I hate it. I know families love it, but I hated it. I hated it from the get-go.
Yeah, that's why I can't see it going away. I hate the way it looks in the park, but I can't see them wanting to get rid of it. I mean, it's popular.
Take out Backlot Stunt Crapper. I call it Backlot Stunt Crapper because I really don't like that ride.
You should call everything Crapper.
No, I only call a few things crap. Like, honestly speaking.
If I had a montage for, I could literally go back on this channel and have a montage of you calling everything crap, and I'm just gonna play it for you over and over again.
One day we'll have that. One day when we're large enough, we'll have a montage just for you. But like, there's just so much unused space with this part of the park. They've got fields where they used to have parts of the antique cars, and they've got like this big giant weird drainage area next to Coney with the propane tanks right next to it, which looks really, really tacky. But there's just so much they can do with this part of the park, and I think it's a travesty that they
The
got
propane
Backlot.
tank adds something though. It's Hollywood. This is Paramount.
I hate you.
It's Hollywood.
I hate you. Anyways, moving on to number 1.
Alrighty.
Ryan, do you want to kick things off? Because I got a big thing
Yes,
for number 1.
alrighty. So we saved the biggest addition for last. At least biggest as in, like, what I think I would like to see. Now, I realized how... I've aged a lot since this pandemic. I really feel like I've aged a lot for some reason. And my coaster, like, once will show here. So I'm obviously gonna go with a mock launcher in the terrain, but what I think is the more likely option at the end of the day, well, not more likely. I mean, I don't know. I would like an X-Flight style B&M wing coaster.
Where? Where are we talking? At Vortex?
So now, I think Vortex's land is large enough to handle multiple attractions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking of extremely compact X-Flight wing coaster. They're not the most expensive rides in the world, you know, especially during a pandemic. You're gonna want to stay relatively budget. Granted, it's still a B&M, so you're talking, you know, like 20 mil easily. But I think I think that's probably better than building a mock at this point and more realistic. So I think X-Flight would fit in really well, especially if it's like, you know, I'm not talking about place the exact ride, but I'm talking like X-Flight in height, X-Flight in used to terrain. I think it'd be cool to have that elongated barrel roll, because that's something we haven't, like, it feels like we don't have that elongated barrel roll anywhere else besides X-Flight and Thunderbird.
I was about to say Thunderbird has one, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but I was thinking, I was like, man, because little backstory to this, I sort of realized how, like, man, X-Flight, you know, that was years ago. Like, I'm an old man. Like, I remember when X-Flight was brand fucking new. Like, holy shit, I've aged.
I'm that same exact way when it comes to Expedition Everest.
Yeah, it's like, man, I remember when that ride came out, you know? You know, that turned my head. I was like, that's kind of unique and cool. But, you know, now, I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, no. I'm thinking X-Flight style wing coaster, you know, used to terrain. I think it'd be a great draw for families and thrill seekers. I mean, it's not the most intense ride in the world, but I don't think Kings Island builds the most intense rides anyways. So I think it would fit in really well.
I mean, have you ridden Orion yet?
Yeah, it's not very intense.
Yeah.
Orion's okay. Now, granted, it's a great ride for what it is. I'm not gonna shit on it too much. I mean, you could say what you want to about the ride, but I mean, it works, and it clearly, I think Cedar Fair was very impressed with how it performed even during a pandemic. So.
So my number 1. Big brain here. Again, talking about the Backlot stunt coaster area.
Oh boy.
I
Here we
would
go.
love...
This is coming, boys.
I would love to see a single rail RMC.
Oh, really? I thought we were going with something else.
What do you think I was going with?
I thought you were going to say take those in... I thought you were going to trade our antique... I thought you were going to trade the flyers for the ones at Carowinds.
Oh, no, I already said that before. I made that into a package deal. Yeah, the flyers at Carowinds are coming back home. The birds are coming back to roost.
God, I miss those flyers. I'm going to go ride those flyers now, thanks.
I already have ridden them. They're golden.
I mean, I have ridden them. They're great, but I mean, Carowinds isn't opening until fucking May because... Yeah, I think it's stupid, but...
So, I would love to see a custom RMC single rail come to the park. I think that, you know, if Kings Island can get their ops together, and I'm being serious about this for a second, if you can actually get your ops together and have like 3 train capacity with 10 riders per train, I think they could do it. 30 riders per cycle, you know, do the math. I don't know how many riders per hour, But put something in that is a single rail concept, maybe even add a T-Rex, I don't know. Put something in that is Western themed, you know, maybe themed to like Rivertown or something like that. You know, make it themed to Cincinnati. And really...
You gotta have Mustang. Remember Mustang? Back in the day.
Oh, jeez. Not that one.
Mustang the Ride.
No.
For those of you who don't know, somebody made like a No Limits 1 rendering of what they thought Diamondback was gonna look like back in the day. And they called it Mustang because, I mean, this is at the time where they were rumored to be working with, you know, car names and all this.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that if they were to add, or maybe even like a mock, you know, launch coaster, you know, put something new, something that's fresh, and something that's actually themed.
I'll throw this out there real quick. As much I love the idea of having a B&M style wing coaster, but having a mock, or even hell, if Velocicoaster works out, I could seriously see Cedar Fair working with Intamin again. That would be also cool.
Well, and you know, just kind of like so if you look at Cincinnati, right, we've got aviation in our name. You know, something that's maybe plane themed would be incredible in this part of the park.
The Dayton Flyer.
The Cincinnati Flyer. Yeah.
Why?
Lunkin
Dayton.
Flyer. Because Lunkin is where American Airlines started out, actually.
Sponsored by American Airlines.
We are not sponsored. We are not sponsored, but not yet, at least. I'm hoping for sponsorships one day.
This podcast isn't sponsored by anyone, but it should be.
It should be. It is such a good podcast. If you guys want to give me like $25 a month, I will gladly shill for you. I'm gonna get an email now. Some dude in like freaking the middle of nowhere asking me to go and promote his product. No, but you know, something that is...
Oh, don't worry. I'll email you with the Coaster Clash podcast.
Coaster Clash podcast is sponsored a Slides to Coasters podcast. Get out of here.
We'll have like a trade sponsorship, except my podcast isn't actually active right now.
Yeah.
We're always on a hiatus, boys, but we're still here. We're still kicking. We're living.
He's just shilling out for another podcast. Yeah. Slowly but surely,
I love to think that I come on this podcast more than I come on my own podcast.
Slowly but surely, the Coaster Clash podcast will become a subsidiary to Slides the Coasters brand.
I mean, to be fair, we had an episode recorded for Kentucky Kingdom, but I was lazy and like took a nap and completely forgot to edit it. So it's just sitting on my computer, like not uploaded, and it's not going to be uploaded now because it's kind of irrelevant.
You never
maybe one day if we're big enough, I'll release all the episodes that I meant to release. Like I have one where fucking Drew.
Definitely, if we were to add something like a Mac launch or an RMC, that would be a pretty... Heck, you know, Ryan, you're gonna hate me for saying this.
Okay.
Put in a family gravity group.
No, I'm kind of okay with that. I think okay, so granted, Kentucky Kingdom is kind of a budget park, but if it's a Cedar Fair budget, I feel like it'd be longer anyway.
Like, if you're to add a Twister-style coaster, because that would bring out the trifecta. You've got the longest wooden coaster. You've got the...
That would be kind of cool anyways, because of the fact that I was trying to think, there are no parks that have both a GCI and a gravity group in the same park.
You add a gravity group family coaster, something that's like 100 feet tall, and just have it a Twister layout. That would be perfect. I think we just hit comedy gold. I think I peaked. I think I actually just peaked there. A gravity group right next to Mystic Timbers. You know, not right next, but, you know, close enough. Something that is not too big, not too small. Something for everyone, fitting that family coaster concept. Maybe roughly same exact length, if not a little bit more than Backlot. That would be perfect for the park. And that would really round out Rivertown as a wooden coaster area. And as well, Kings Island as a wooden coaster capital of the world, because they are competing with Holiday World.
I mean, yeah. That's weird. Like, it's really weird, actually.
Or you could have an
Like,
RMC.
Holiday World made this tweet when Kentucky Kingdom was bought by Hershen that said we've been family owned for like
75 years, something
however
like that,
many
yeah.
years, 75 years they've been open. Yeah, I don't know the exact birth date of their park.
Actually,
I know they had some anniversary this year.
I've got the flyer right here, actually. 75 years.
Ooh.
Here at Slides Coasters, I do have a little bit of documentation laying about, and Holiday World sent me a lot of things for Hollywood Nights. So, yeah, it's 75 years. But I think most definitely if they're to add a wooden coaster like that, make it themed again, you know, make it a kiddie, more of like a family attraction, put a ton of trees in, I think that would be perfect for the park. And I think that kind of rounds out our top 5. Of course,
Yeah.
with that, I will admit, we're still going to put in the Flying Eagles just because I miss them with the passion.
Of course.
Yes, anytime I talk about the park, I always say Flying Eagles. Top Scan. Hey, we went through a whole entire show without saying Top Scans. Without
It's
even
true.
mentioning Top Scans. Take that, Top Scan, Ethan. We're not Top Scan fans here at Slides to Coasters, at least tonight. But with that being said, Ryan, do you have any further comments or suggestions that you want to make towards the audience?
We should probably add a top scan too in there.
Okay, get out of here.
Okay.
With that being said, we're going to kind of wrap it up here. I think this was a really great thought process. Again, these are our top 5 ideas for the park. Not saying they're actually going to happen. These are simply ideas that we have that we kind of brainstorm before the show and during the show even. Just kind of talking about what are the things that we would love to see come to our park. Of course, if you guys have any ideas, please go and comment in the comments down below. Please go check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and as well our Gamer Eyes. I would love to see you guys there as well. We're going to someday, hopefully soon, hopefully by the time this show airs, we're going to have a blog on our Weebly. That's something I've been working on for a while. Hopefully I can get something out sometime soon. Maybe have a companion piece to this discussion. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stay tropical, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Have a good night, guys.